I've seen in the last couple of weeks that really get me excited. One is the Underline. It is a recreational trail, a mobility corridor. It functions in many different ways today, and it is planned to be vastly improved over 10 plus miles. A lot of public dollars and private contributions funding this project. While they've been challenged, like all projects, with understanding the construction schedule, understanding if there's any funding sources that might need to be revisited. Are they going to be able to use the money that's been allocated the same way? There's some logistical issues that are definitely challenges, and there's a nonprofit organization behind it all. And so all nonprofits are struggling to understand how they continue moving forward, reassessing things. But they are on top of it and doing it day to day. And what we start to see is the use of the Underline, which they've called the empath for 30 something years, has spiked. People are getting on bikes and they're getting out there. Bike shops sales are through the roof. Kids are learning to ride bikes in this pandemic that didn't know how to ride a bike before, and parents are home and spending more time with the kids. So from the demand side, you see the natural movement to a place, because it's not a public park and it is a mobility corridor, it remains open, just like a street. And so there's less cars on the road, there's more bikes on the path, and you start to see how that is a natural adapter. It adapts to its users on a daily basis. It has always functioned that way. The Oregon Trail, like you could think of the Cumberland Trail. In history, our mobility as a society the technologies have changed. We're on horse-drawn carriage, and then they invented the locomotive, and there's the steam engine, and now there's a car and there's public transportation. It doesn't really matter where we go with the form of transportation. The idea of these mobility corridors, these transportation links, is human evolution. I mean, it is always a function of human evolution. It's one of the driving factors in the founding of America, right? Going to the New World. So there's built-in inherent functionality in a urban infrastructure renewal project. It's adaptive use by its nature. It is reimagination by its nature. And so if we're in a world of disruption, it's a comfortable place to be for a project that is already trying to disrupt what has existed there for 30 something years. And you're seeing these graphs and charts and data coming in showing the need, the desire, the belief that that is something that will be a strength of Miami going forward, even if we are limited in how we congregate at restaurants or movie theaters, in closed spaces, even the beach or a public park. That corridor will continue to be a critical catalyst for community resiliency, or just how we live going forward. Every city should want one or two or three or a linked system of trails, because it's resilient by its nature. And it's that mix of public space, private individuals interacting, naturally allows you to social distance as you are using that path. It does not force you to any one particular location. It is a corridor in which you can modify your behavior accordingly and enjoy that space for exercise, for hearing the birds chirp, looking at the butterfly garden, all these different spaces that are planned to be created throughout the Underline. They either remain or even are enhanced in their relevancy, and people can access those different parts of the trail and make it what it needs to be for their experience.
That's brilliant, man. I never thought of, I've obviously Highline Park in New York, is the Beltway in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think of these. I never thought about it like the Oregon Trail. I think of Route 66 being this corridor that used to be so integral to the infrastructure of America, and now it's just become like a road trip experience.
There is a concept in Miami that people are working on called the Miami Loop. and it will link the Miami Riverwalk with the Ludlam Trail and into the Underline. And it forms, it's more of a triangle than it is a circle, but it will be our version of the Beltway, right? And it's this internal, like in the urban core. I forget what the total mileage is, but it's pretty extensive. I mean, it takes you into downtown, up the river towards the airport, Blue Lagoon. You come down Ludlam Trail, which is an abandoned rail line, through some industrial districts that are now sparking microbreweries and different kinds of development. And it takes you south into the terminus of the Underline down by Dadeland. And then you can either hop on Metro Rail or get on your bike and ride up that 10 miles back into downtown. So someone living, whether you live in Brickell or you're living in Coral Gables or West Miami or down in Pinecrest, like you can hop on this trail, and it's not just the Underline, it's the Miami Loop.